40 Things We Learned in Week 17 of the 2017 NFL. The 40 Things We Learned from Week 17 of the NFL season. 1. Thanks for the memories, 2017. To kick off the new year, here are some NFL resolutions. For the Cleveland Browns to get a win, for Jon Gruden rumors to finally cease and to never have to hear the phrase survive the ground again. 2. 4 of the 6 longest active playoff droughts entering Sunday officially ended. So to the fan bases used to being home in January, looking at you, Bills, 17 seasons, Rams, 13, Jaguars, 10, and Titans, 9, congrats. 3. And of the 12 playoff teams in the field this year, only 4, Patriots, Steelers, Chiefs, Falcons, were in the 2016 tournament. 4. But not everyone is celebrating the new year. Black Monday, and Sunday, once again claimed quite a few coaches and assistants. This is a business, and production is necessary, but take a moment to think about the families affected by these decisions. 5. If Arizona coach Bruce Arians calls it a career and retires, as a reflective and teary-eyed post-game press conference indicated, a hat tip to him. Always a straight shooter and a colorful quote, Arians waited long enough to get his first head coaching gig, and he was fun to cover. 6. The Dud of the Week award goes to the Baltimore Ravens. They faced a win-and-in situation, at home, against a Bengals team that's frequently been lifeless down the stretch. Baltimore proceeded to lose 31-27, in jaw-dropping fashion, allowing a 49-yard TD pass on 4th and 12 in the final minute. 7. Baltimore's anguish meant delight in Buffalo, where the Bills snapped what was the longest postseason drought in North America's 4 major pro sports leagues. The Seattle Mariners now own that distinction. 8. And Buffalo was eager to send some love, and food, to Cincinnati. The Bills tweeted a thank you to the Bengals, which read in part, "After we handled business in Miami, we needed you, and you came through big time. On behalf of this team, the people of the city of Buffalo, and Bills fans around the world, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wings on us. No really, we're sending wings." 9. We can't help but think Sean McDermott breathed a little easier about his misguided decision to bench Buffalo QB Tyrod Taylor in a Week 11 loss to the Chargers, in which rookie Nathan Peterman threw 5 first-half interceptions. The Bills rebounded to go 4-2 after leaving L.A., but just barely bailed out their rookie coach. 10. And who needs LaShawn McCoy? Just a few plays after the dynamic Bills back left Sunday's game with an ankle injury, DT Kyle Williams plunged into the end zone on a 1-yard rush, his first career score. Nothing like sending out the year with a fat guy TD. For the record, Buffalo will surely need McCoy if it's to win in Jacksonville on Sunday. 11. The Panthers continue to be susceptible to head-scratching performances. Cam Newton missed his first 9 throws Sunday and finished with 3 picks. Carolina, which could have won the NFC South and earned a home playoff date, failed to show sufficient urgency, not the look of a team poised for a deep run. 12. Bill Belichick apparently tried to play mind games with the Jets, reportedly ordering thermometers to be installed near New York's tunnel to reflect the 13-degree temperature and -1 wind chill at Foxborough. He also went onto the field for warm-ups in short sleeves and shorts. Bold. 13. Come game time, however, Belichick had the full ski mask, zip-top hoodie and parka. He's not shy about mental warfare, but he's not stupid, either. 14. Speaking of the weather, Jets QB Bryce Petty futilely tried to jam his helmet onto his head before New York's first drive before realizing he had a stocking cap on atop his body hood. Situational awareness, Jets style. 15. And for those who thought the Patriots only signed OLB James Harrison to pry secrets from the Steelers, think again. The 39-year-old collected 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 QB hits, a tackle for loss, and a forced fumble. Harrison had just 1 sack in 5 appearances for Pittsburgh this season. 16. Rob Gronkowski notwithstanding, RB Dion Lewis may have established himself as Tom Brady's primary offensive weapon in New England. In his last 2 games, Lewis has 61 touches for 286 yards and 4 TDs. 17. It's safe to wonder if Philly can be a contender with QB Nick Foles. In his last 5 quarters, Foles completed just 23 of his 49 passes for 202 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. 18. Worse, the Eagles' first-string offense managed just 1 touchdown in its last 18 drives with Foles under center. Ugh. 19. If Steelers WR Antonio Brown is forced to miss time in the playoffs with his partially torn calf, at least Pittsburgh can increasingly count on rookie Juju Smith-Schuster, who stepped up in a big way. Since Brown got hurt in Week 15, no NFL receiver has more yards, 332, than Smith-Schuster. 20. The Browns became just the 2nd team in NFL history to go 0-16, and the 5th to go winless. Cleveland is the first to go 131 over 2 full seasons. 21. Hours before his team lost to the Cardinals, Seahawks coach Pete Carroll said on Twitter that he ain't old enough to think about retiring. He's the oldest coach in the league at 66, though, and Seattle may be on the verge of some transition with some aging vets too big money. Carroll may be back, but also have to draw inspiration from a mini rebuild. 22. Kirk Cousins became the first quarterback in Redskins history to register 3 consecutive 4,000-yard passing seasons. In fact, he's the only passer in team history to have more than one, which makes pending negotiations, and possibility of a 3rd franchise tag, all the more intriguing. 23. Giving new Giants GM Dave Gettleman too much credit for Sunday's win against Washington would be an exaggeration. But cutting starting RT Bobby Hart on Saturday and benching starting LT Eric Flowers clearly helped send a message as the Giants heaped up a season-best 260 rushing yards. 24. Based on his time with the Panthers, Gettleman values winning up front and running the ball effectively. Look for candidates to reflect that philosophy as he searches for New York's next coach. 25. Have to question the Saints putting their kicker in harm's way. In a loss to the Buccaneers, Will Lutz got crushed and didn't gain the first down on a fake field goal. With a playoff run coming up, the last thing a team wants to do is look for a replacement at such a crucial spot. 26. Just look at the Chargers, who cycled through 4 different kickers this season and still couldn't solve a problem that was largely responsible for their failure to reach the playoffs. Simply put, there aren't many good options out there. 27. Still give the Bolts a ton of credit for finishing the season 9-7 after an 0-4 start. Looks like better days lie ahead with coach Anthony Lynn, but at what point do they need to find a successor for QB Phillip Rivers? 28. One team that's glad to move on from 2017, the Dallas Cowboys. Still, questions linger regarding the future of W.R. Dez Bryant, T. Jason Witten and QB Dak Prescott's disappointing sophomore season. 29. One team that can't wait for the 2018 season, the San Francisco 49ers. They finished undefeated in QB Jimmy Garoppolo's 5 starts. With some key additions, think offensive line, cornerback, running back, wide receiver, they might soon be highly competitive. 30. First things first, however. Niners GM John Lynch needs to use some of that cap space to lock up Garoppolo with a long-term deal. The franchise tag is certainly an option, but with each impressive performance, Jimmy G's price surely increased. 31. One team entering the playoffs lacking momentum is the Jaguars, losers of 2 in a row. In those defeats, Jacksonville mustered 87.5 rushing yards per game, nearly 50 below its season-long average. And QB Blake Bortles' 5 interceptions in the last 2 weeks are a concern. If the Jaguars can't rush effectively and can't protect the football, their run in the postseason likely won't last long. 32. The Titans haven't been much better, backing into postseason despite losing 3 of their final 4. Only 6 teams have a turnover margin worse than Tennessee's, -4. 33. Give the Falcons credit for overcoming a stretch of 4 losses in 5 weeks. They were 4-4 at midseason, to reach the playoffs. But Atlanta faces long odds and a harsh history lesson. The 1971 Cowboys and 1972 Dolphins are the only teams to win the Super Bowl a year after losing it. 34. One team may be flying a bit under the radar is Kansas City. The Chiefs suffered a meltdown in the middle of the year. But since coach Andy Reid handed over play calling to offensive coordinator Matt Nagy, they've scored 28.6 points per game and won 4 of their last 5. 35. Through the Vikings' first 4 games, RB Latavius Murray gained only 38 rushing yards. But once rookie Dalvin Cook went down with a season-ending knee injury, Murray's resurgence has been a key to Minnesota's push. In the season finale against the Bears, Murray pounded in a couple of 1-yard scores and gained 111 yards. In the final 10 games of the year, he has posted 747 yards and all 8 of his touchdowns. 36. That and a smothering defense are why the Vikings ranked second in the league in time of possession, 32 hours 26 minutes a game. 37. One matchup we're excited to see, Carolina's run D versus New Orleans ground game. In their 11 victories, the Saints rushed for an average of 151.3 yards a game. The Panthers allowed teams to average only 88.1 yards on the ground all year long. 38. Saturday's wild-card game between the Falcons and Rams will be the first playoff game staged in Los Angeles since the LA Raiders beat the Broncos on Jan 9, 1994. 39. The last time the Los Angeles Rams had a postseason game at home was Jan 4, 1986. Though that was technically in Anaheim. Their last playoff game at the LA Coliseum was a 28-0 loss to the Cowboys on Jan 7, 1979. 40. At 40 years old, Tom Brady became the oldest player in NFL history to lead the league in passing yards, 4,577. With that, he bolstered his case for what would be his 3rd MVP award. Follow Lorenzo Reyes on Twitter at LorenzOGrizePhotos, Week 17 NFL action.